Adding. But do you even
we've got a camera this time.
But do you even understand tree though?
You didn't tell me.
Adding.
No, why did you marry this foreigner?
You come with some hot energy today.
This is normal energy, you know.
Normal.
It's like whenever Nene walks into my house, I have to go like this.
No, it's hot. Hey, yeah.
It's getting sorted. Let's go.
Hello.
Hi.
We are in the building. This is the Chop House, and it is the final episode of 2022. But by the time you guys are watching this, it will actually be the first episode of 2023. So Happy New Year! And this episode is the 2022 wrap up, and we're doing things a little bit different this episode. There are no videos for this episode, but what we do have is the Wheel of Chop. I wanted like kind of game show type vibes there. Okay, no, let's try that again. Let's go back. Let's read it. But what we do have is the Wheel of Chop. I like that. I like what you're doing.
It's a highlight version.
But I think audience, I need the woo. Okay. All right, one more time.
Right.
But what we do have is the Wheel of Chop.
What you were orchestrating. So who are you, by the way?
So my name is Nii Evans.
And I'm Mikey J. Asante.
And also in the building, we have, I call her.
No, just call her what the name she wants to be. We have to call her the
We
name.
have a legend in the building.
A legend
UKG legend.
That's a UKG
in the building.
Well, there was no red carpet, and I noticed there was no FBI or security at the door. But we'll have a discussion about that afterwards.
It's going to be a long episode.
Guys, there was no security.
But we can't bring legends in here.
But we've got squashies
No
though.
helicopters
We've got
outside.
squashies. But listen, Nene, thank you for being here.
Hi guys.
Listen, no, run.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Yeah, so the three of us are here, but also Nana. So it's gonna confuse you. We've got Nana, we've got Nene. Nana is. It's always nice when our producer actually makes it to.
Yeah, she has.
And there was only like 2 weeks I missed. Not that much.
Okay.
It felt very, very different.
Yes.
But also we have another Asante in the building. He's hiding in the back. But big up Richard as well.
Yeah.
And also, can we just shout out the Sexy Chop House podcast?
Oh yeah, man. Come on.
How
I like them, man. Why didn't I get one for Christmas? What happened?
That's yours.
That is yours.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very
This
much.
is the Oprah moment.
Isn't it?
You get a mug. Everybody gets a mug. But yeah, Chop House Pod mug, man.
Isn't it? Sick.
So anyway,
Happy about that.
back to the episode. What we've got is
this Wheel of Chop.
Is the Wheel of Chop. Yeah. So basically, it's a spinning wheel, and it's got all of like the big stories of 2022 on this wheel. Each of us will take a turn to spin it, and whatever it lands on, that will be the subject that we talk about. Nana will give us a little bit of a primer on what the subject is, and that is how we're going to approach it. Also on there, we've got personal highlights as well. So if it lands on a personal highlight, then it does what it says on the tin. So we're asking you for a personal highlight from the year. Okay? Are we good?
Nice. Yeah.
Do we understand?
We understand.
All right.
Yeah,
So let's do the Chop House 2022 wrap up. I'm going to go.
Honestly, that theme tune is amazing.
It's slightly high life.
I love it.
It's like the horn. Yeah. You see?
I think next year we're going to need a Chop House game show, you know.
Yeah, you know what? I'll make the tune. Then.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That would be wicked. All right. I'm going first. Wheel of spin. Here we go.
Wheel of spin or wheel of chop?
Wheel of chop. I was reading as well.
Yeah.
Wheel of chop. Here we go.
Hey, man.
You just
Man pressed it hard as well.
Yeah,
Nothing happened. Press or press.
There we go.
Okay, man, it's got sound effects and everything.
Huh?
Hey, what did it land on?
Personal highlight.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Wow. So we're starting like that.
Personal,
So
lovely.
let me. Okay. But I should have actually thought about it. Really, innit?
Yeah,
You would have
Oh,
thought.
you're a joker.
It's personal. Hey, my okay. No. My personal highlight for the years. Two personal highlights. They both involve the children. Sorry, my foot is stuck. So the first one, earlier on this year, I think it was around, it was March. It was Ghana Independence. Akai did his first kind of big, massive show at the Barbican, celebrating 21 years of Boy Blue. And like just the journey of like Akai in terms of being a baby and just being like, hang on, that kid's actually got a bit of rhythm, to like being, and even in that moment saying like, when he's old enough, we'll have to put him in Boy Blue. And oh no, we said it from jump. We were like from jump.
From 3 years old.
Yeah. And we were like, he's got to go Boy Blue. And so then from him actually starting Boy Blue, and then obviously doing studio showcases and whatnot have you, but then this moment, like on the Barbican stage, like even now talking about it, I can still feel like,
oh my God.
But it was
so mushy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but it was.
I cried too. I did. I was crying auntie.
It was like it was such a special moment. I was just like, do you know what? Like as a dad, this is what I'm here for. Like I'm here for just the joy, like the sheer joy. And so that was moment number one. And moment number two involved Akaija. So they both started dance together, right? And then about a year ago, Akaija was like, this ain't me. This ain't for me. And so he said he wants to stop. So I was like, all right, see out the rest of the term and then see how you feel. So he did the rest of the term. After the summer break, I was like, you want to go back to dance? He was like, no, I don't want to go back to dance. So he was like, I want to start football. If anybody knows me, that's probably the worst thing my child can say to me, because I am not a football guy. Like, I can't help you, bruv. Like, I cannot help you. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. And I'll be so honest here, yeah? So he said he wants to go football. I was like, all right, cool. And I'm hoping it's one of them things that if you leave it long enough, they'll forget and move on to the next thing. But this guy did not forget. He's like, Dad, can you find me a club? So then now I have to reach out. I'm sending messages in all sorts of groups, blah, blah, blah. Anybody know any football clubs? We find a football club, Riverhawks up in Gants Hill. And we go. And so his thing was like, he was straight away, he came, he was like, I want to be a goalkeeper, sort of thing. Right?
Goalkeeper's a big deal as well, you know, like, that's not a joke.
So I was like, all right, cool.
Joke position.
So took him to practice the first time, and again just thinking like, how am I here, bro? Like, how am I a football dad? Like, this was not in the script.
So
like,
grumpy.
this was I'm being honest. But what I would say, that boy changed me. Like in the last year, I have probably watched more football than I've ever watched in my life.
Wow, okay.
I've probably spoken about, no, not even probably, I've spoken about football more than I've ever had in my life. And I've enjoyed football more than I ever have in my life. But the particular moment that I want to talk about was, so he'd been training for a while and the league had started up and it was their first match. It was an away match. He's in goal. Our team is winning 1-0 and it's like minutes to the end of the match. And then one of our players gave away a penalty, like handball, like literally minutes to go. And you know, like generally penalty is always in the striker's favour. So so as a parent, I'm like, this is effed up, because he's gonna, if this goes in, you know, that's like a big blow for him. Like it's a big, massive blow for him. You're gonna feel responsible. So you're just there on the sideline, just willing your child. And so kid steps up. And it's the most epic save. Like the way the ball just hit him and just went off like that. And so the moment he saved it,
that was South African massacre.
And so he got rushed. So the moment he saved it, he got rushed by the whole team. And so like they've all rushed him, and then we're like, get back. But they've got back, literally played like 30 seconds, whistle goes, and then this boy, like he like literally just, the first thing he did, he spun around to see where I was, and he ran like Usain Bolt towards me, and he literally just ran and jumped. And the thing is, it was so, if you were watching it, it looks like one of those cheesy Disney moments, because he ran, jumped, carried him, and I swung him round. I'm like, well done. But it was, because again, like you said, it was like a Disney moment.
That's
it was
beautiful.
So like the final minutes of the game, and you saved the penalty. So even now in his club, he's called the penalty Jedi master.
Penalty Jedi.
Yeah, because he's saved a few more since then.
Oh yeah,
he's saved
he's
a few,
good
like
at penalties.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are definitely my highlights for.
Wow, that's some
for
solid highlights.
2022.
I don't think if it lands, I don't want to say it. I don't even know if I got any.
But yeah, that's me. That's me.
That's beautiful.
So next ring.
All right. So Mike, so just
let's let Nene go for next.
Shall I do it for you so you don't have to lean over?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna do it for you. Okay. Boom. This is your one. Here we go.
He's like, yes.
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 Oh shit.
It's still spinning.
Elon and Twitter.
Oh, God.
Nana,
Okay.
Are you a Twitter? First and foremost, are you a Twitter user?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like heavily, like do you use it
I'm
every
not
day?
heavy, but I scroll all the time. I want to know because you find out the tea on Twitter before you find it out on Insta.
It's true.
Insta's like way 3 or 4 weeks behind. I'm not even joking. Twitter, literally, whatever's going down, it's on Twitter.
So then when Elon took it, he bought it. What were your thoughts? Just at that particular moment?
I just don't think he's ruined it. It's just not a good. The whole thing is just a hot mess. The timeline looks dodgy. The blue tick thing. What the hell was that? The verification thing that doesn't make any sense. So then he had to retract that. It just feels like nobody really knows what they're doing. I think he's a bit of an idiot, to be honest. Like, just let it go. Sorry, but I do.
Hasn't he decided to move away from it? I think
yeah,
he did a poll. He did a Twitter poll,
Yeah.
and decided to move away from it.
When he did that, I was solid in my thought of this is a rich man having fun. Yeah, because even in essence, that poll was kind of meaningless in the sense of like, so he's done the poll of like, should I, step away from Twitter, knowing that the majority of the people will see that and think, oh, he's not going to be involved in Twitter. But it's like, he owns it. Like, so whether he's in charge of it or not, like, i.e. has the title, it doesn't matter. He owns it. So for me, it was like, you're just there playing with people.
I just thought he was going to, I don't know if I've said it already on this, but I thought he was going to revolutionize it in the sense that it was a form, because he said he wants to exploit its full potential. So the notion of, say, voting or getting opinions there and then to kind of change and challenge current situations or scenarios, I thought that was going to be what it would turn into, because it's like a global communication, right?
Yeah, but what he's done, sorry to cut in, but what he's done, the reason why I think he's a bit of an idiot is because the free speech thing, now you've got all these absolute idiots on Twitter. There were more racist tweets than there've ever been. So he's brought everybody back who's got racist views. People tweet about being monkey, the N-word. I think somebody got tweeted like 156 times in the space of whatever minute. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what are you doing? Free speech is free speech at the end of the day. That's fine. But what are you doing? What is your agenda?
What's crazy about the free speech thing is that, free speech is free, but hate speech is not.
Well, there you go.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. It's like,
people don't know the difference.
Yeah. Hate speech is a whole different vibe. But I think the thing about Twitter is that I did think it, and I'm not a big Twitter user, let me just say that first and foremost. And it's interesting how, say, I could imagine I probably, in whatever facet it would be, would have people go back at your old tweets and draw them back up. Because that's what's been wild. I think that's super wild. Watching people go back and like, people don't grow, people don't change. People do. People need to people make mistakes. And we all know that, but they're done in the light now with Twitter, yeah? But I think the thing about Twitter is that it did become a bit of, I don't know how to describe it or put it in a singular word, but it wasn't a nice place.
Yeah.
It wasn't a nice place for me before Elon got there. But it's interesting though, because like say on Reddit, I follow a Reddit called Black Twitter. Yeah. And that's bloody hilarious.
No, it really is.
That's what I was literally just about to say. I consume curated versions of Twitter via Reddit, mainly Instagram. Yeah. And for me, on that level, Twitter is amazing.
But it feels like it's a dark space. It's like where people think that, and I think the internet is like that as a whole. People think they can say whatever. Yeah. And then because you're not in front of someone, then you can just say something and think there's going to be no consequences.
Did you hear the story about a guy? I think it was here in the UK. I think it was even a semi-famous person. So some kid.
Wow. We need to describe what a semi-famous person is.
Yeah, what is a semi-famous person?
That's amazing.
I've never really heard that.
Who is semi-famous?
You know the thing that gets me about Michael is he will, the way he will pick up on certain things that, and then I'm like, Oh, right.
He's drawn you out.
But true though,
He's drawn you out.
what is a semi-famous person?
That is really interesting.
Okay.
What does that mean?
A semi-famous person
Is
is not an A-list celebrity.
it so? Okay, so when you say semi-famous,
So I'm
to me,
semi-famous. I'm definitely. This is what I'm like a C.
No,
I'm
I wouldn't even
D-list.
say it's that.
I'm not even a celebrity.
I'm thinking semi-famous is like you're famous on social media.
No.
When I hear semi-famous, that's what I think.
Alright, so Will Smith is famous.
Yeah.
So whether or not you consume films or whatnot have you,
You know him.
you know Will Smith. Yeah.
Mhm.
However, let's say Ricky Hatton. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
famous.
He's
There you
famous.
go.
No, he's famous.
I don't know who he
He's
is.
But
famous.
she doesn't know him.
Yeah,
But she doesn't know
okay.
him. So if you don't, if you're not in the boxing arena,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's not a name for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's
So
a big,
that's-
big British boxer.
And,
Oh, is he?
Mm.
yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I meant by semi-famous, because the person that I was actually, this is also why I drew the name Ricky Hatton. It wasn't Ricky Hatton, but the person that I was talking about, I think he was.
So I
a
think it's
boxer.
more world renowned.
Yeah, and there you go.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So for me, semi-famous is like you're famous in your area.
Anyway,
I mean, I'm famous in my yard.
You know what it was? It was your face.
He was waiting to get told no, he ain't. He was waiting.
Wait. So let's not spoil your story, your Twitter story.
It's already spoiled.
No. Start the Twitter story. Please
So
start
the
the Twitter story.
semi-famous person.
Semi-famous person. Somebody's going back and forth with someone on Twitter, but the person on Twitter is just going in and abusing and rinsing. And this is why the internet is wild, because he managed to like go and DM some people. Do you know this guy? Got the guy's address and videoed him pulling up to the guy's yard. Like, what are you saying? And the guy was like, To be fair, Andrew Tate did a similar thing as well.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, throwing this at Nene, it's like the era of being a musician, right?
Mhm.
Where your public persona and your actual persona were two different things.
Yeah.
Obviously there's value in it in today's society in terms of financing.
Yeah.
Where if you was to put the two together and have like a stream of consistency between your life and your public persona, people find a way to monetize it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But do you respect that line where I think a lot of people, they don't respect the notion of privacy in the same way that someone can just draw up to your yard and just find your house. Like, people don't have put in those safeguards to kind of allow themselves to remain anonymous, so to speak. And I mean, do you respect that? Do you see that as a thing? Do you, for yourself, not for these individuals?
Okay, when you say do I, what,
Like, do you feel like for you, not people must respect that part of your life as
course,
your own,
but-
and not be allowed to?
Of course not, but also, I'm very careful about what I put online. I don't even put the kids online, as in like I don't put my nephews online unless I absolutely have to. As in like Akai was performing, so it was a proud auntie moment, but it was literally a 15-second clip. I don't post anybody's kids. I don't post my mum. I don't post my family unless they've got their own situation. But even then,
But more than anything else, it's like that's the one thing I look at in the world, that people don't respect that for themselves.
no,
They
I
just
don't.
want to talk loose,
Nah.
be wild online, and like, fam, I don't want none of my. I would, if I could, and I know you can Google and find out stuff about me, cool. But as little as possible, fam.
Yeah.
Because you got to respect your privacy.
Yeah.
But I understand the financial gain that kind of comes
Well, you know, but my thing is, I come from an era where they were really famous people. I mean, people were really famous.
Yeah,
Do you know
you
what I
can't
mean?
walk into a
You
particular
can't
place.
walk into a do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I just remember there was an incident that made up my mind for me, where I was just like, I don't like this. I was in Topshop, and this girl came up to me. She put her arm around me, and she went, "You're a big superstar. What are you doing in Topshop?"
Wow.
She was digging my arm. Where's the next single? And I wanted to punch her in her face. To be honest. I thought,
That's
anybody
what it
that
is,
knows me
'cause
knows
people
that I'm
think
like, why are you
people
touching
think
me?
they have ownership over your
Yeah.
likeness or your being.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, obviously. I've got more famous friends. And I see that and I feel for them. And sometimes I get super protective. Or, you know what I mean? Sometimes you want to grab up people and push them back and be like, chill. It's nuts.
But this was, let me just clarify something, because you know people are saying, hey, she's the same stuff. This is when the record was hot. It was hot.
All right, listen, let's spin.
Yeah, this is my spin then, yeah?
Yeah. You want to do it?
No, come on. You're the spin guy. Spin the distance.
All right, here we go.
Let's see what happens. Who is it? Personal highlight.
Personal highlight.
Yay.
Mad. This year, I will just talk about this year. This year is a lot of reckonings, eye openings, and massive actions. Just a year of actions. Loads. I've been put in circumstances. I've been given certain circumstances. I've grown to certain circumstances where action has had to take place. And you know what? I'm going to be a cheater and not talk about anything personal in the light of our last thing and talk about this moment. The notion of the chop house.
Okay.
The fact that it exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happened from a random call with Russ, and then just knowing our energy from Nan to you, you know, to how we just sit and we just literally chop it up and how it all kind of came about. And I think walking in that first day, seeing a house with Chop House Pod in it, seeing Mike set up, seeing a camera, bruv, I was like, yo, this is a moment. You know, this is a moment. And I didn't think I would have, because I don't know, I don't say it in the way that I have a podcast, but I do. I kind of have a podcast. And you guys have made that happen. And I feel really, really chuffed, amazed that we've got this far. What's it? This is number
18.
So, you know, I can't wait to get to 50.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this has been quite a massive personal highlight for me. And yeah, so I cheated. So
That was quite cute though.
Yeah,
It sounded like the American accent was coming in and was going to be like, I want to say thanks to my mom. It was going there.
It was going there.
That's good.
Thanks to God.
Thanks to
God for bringing Russell and Nana into
It was just totally hot.
No, but I feel that.
No, seriously, it's been so fun to know that I'm gonna come here each week and something's gonna happen. You know?
Yeah, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, and so when you called and you said what you said straight away, I was like, yes, because I'd been for ages. I was like, I want to do a podcast, and I wanted. This is the irony of this. Yeah, this podcast idea. The first person I wanted to do it was Mike, and then I talked myself out of it because I just said, Mike's too busy, man.
It's true.
Mike's too busy.
And
so then I was talking to some other guys, and it just never happened. Like, through just, you know what I mean? It just never happened, and it fizzled out. And so it got to the point where I was like, yeah, probably not going to happen. You know what I mean? And then Mike just calls up, and it's like, I've been thinking, we should do a podcast. And here we are.
And bro, let me give you a joke. Me doing this podcast has caused me more drama, you know? Because everyone knows Mike's busy, and then all of a sudden,
but you got time?
Podcast, you got time for a podcast. And you know, if the neck's moving like this, then you know what time it was at the time. Yeah, the neck was moving like this. I said, look, I don't do nothing. I turn up and I sit down for 2 hours and I leave. Yeah, that's it.
And the thing is, this is Mike stipulated this from the jump. He was like, no. Let me be clear. Like, those were his words. He was like, let me be clear. I want to turn up, do the pod, and leave.
Gosh, you're such a diva. I mean, gosh.
But sometimes, Nene, you got to know your limits.
Wow,
you know, my limit is, fam, I could not sit there and do chopping up the picture and the sound mixing. I said, no, Russ, it's your thing.
That's not for me.
Listen, so, that's not for me. The truth is that when it comes to the money share, if there's ever money share, I'm going to get less. It's just that simple. I had to make peace with that. But now, honestly, it's like, yeah, like, bro, I got in trouble because, I literally come sit down and have a conversation and then I leave. And I would do that. And I get to see you guys so much more often now. See the kids.
Yeah.
We talk about things. It's nice.
But I think that's the beauty of it. You know, I was saying it to Rich earlier on before we started, where it's just like, it's, you know, sometimes when work doesn't feel like work, innit? So it's like, you know, it's work. There's an element of strategy behind what we're doing and what have you. But at the same time, it's like, if the cameras weren't here, we've said it time and time again, if the cameras weren't here and the mics weren't here,
we'll be doing this.
The same thing would be happening.
Yeah, but guys, do you just want to hug it out? Because I feel like it's a bromance.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's feeling like a love.
I'll do it later, man. It's a bit problematic on this chair. And look a particular way, Nene, man. Just try it.
Just because you are jealous. It's
yeah,
okay. You are jealous. You are jealous.
She said jealous.
All right.
Can I add in a personal highlight of Mikey's that I've had this year?
Okay.
It's going to see Antigone.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was
your music was great in it as well. But that's a big Yeah, it's a big thing. It's like an open air theatre experience.
Yeah, well, I've never done that.
Well, can I just say that I actually didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, because let me tell you.
You like trouble. Russell likes trouble.
Okay.
I want problems.
Exactly.
Always.
I want problems.
Tell us a little bit about Antigone.
Yeah.
Antigone, so obviously,
beats.
you know what? Antigone was interesting because me and Inuwa, so Inuwa Elms is a friend of mine, and I've known him like majority of like the bigger parts of his career, if I'm honest. And we've grown together, we've done stuff together, but we've never made a piece together. So we tried on something, it didn't work. Maybe tried another thing, it didn't work. We'd always like, you know, be doing it. And then he had a situation where he was working on this particular piece, which was around, and it was crazy because how it clashed to where we got to with Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss and all of that.
Yeah, for real.
Which was a story about a Muslim family, but based on the original elements of Antigone, the Greek tragedy stroke theatre piece or whatever. And they had a musical person that they were working with, and it turned out that the person couldn't do the thing that they said they could do. So one of the dance people actually suggested my name, and Inna was like, "Oh yeah, that's my mate," or whatever. So they kind of brought me in for a test, in it. So they proper test me, gave me
testing blood.
Come on, listen, I don't mind. I don't mind, bro. So I sat there anyway, and I made them tracks in like 10 minutes, like a few tracks that they wanted. They were like, what's going on? Are you like going somewhere and just pressing buttons? And then I said, no. This is some of the things I was thinking.
This is talent.
Yeah.
This is talent.
So obviously, truly, they couldn't, and this is going to sound bad, in terms of what my level is and what I do, I was too big for the show.
It's okay. You can actually say it. You're a bad man.
Exactly.
Like, you can say it. It's
I was too probably high for the show, but in terms of my price, I mean, but Inuwa, do you know what I mean? It was that moment that we've been talking about to work on, and this was a big seminal moment for him because of the type of story it was, and it was a branch out from Barbershop Chronicles, which he did, which was obviously incredible. And then all the other stuff that he's kind of been working on, from a book to, you know, other kind of, he's got a show that he does, a poetry show, and it's really dope. So this is a big moment for him. But then, it starts to clash with this first, because his story is focusing on first Asian prime minister. Then all of a sudden we're having Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, all happening at the same time. But remember, well, if you don't know it, the Antigone story is that the guy Creon, who becomes this Asian prime minister, it goes, you know, terrible, and he kind of connects it all with terrorism and all of this. It's really, really good in that regard in terms of writing. But what was the original, I think the piece that made me get it was that one of my friends, Carrie Ann, was working on it. So they had the dance element. So I think what they wanted to try and do was connect the notion of the choruses, because back in the Greek kind of stories, they had these choruses where the ensemble would kind of push the story forward. And it's kind of what Rapman would do, so to speak, with how he has the break and he talks about the story and then acting what happened in between them.
Absolutely a Greek tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. That's how kind of Rapman does what he does. And so that's what we did, but with dance. And it was an interesting highlight. It was because I didn't know about that space. Who knew about? I didn't know about that Regent's Park.
Listen,
I had no idea it existed. There's a bar, restaurant.
Amazing. And it's like when you kind of come out of the clearing and you turn and you see this building, and you're like,
whoa,
what?
in Regent's Park?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Man.
So that was cool. And then also seeing my boy, in a way, he did a great job. Sorry, Nene. I'll make sure next time.
I'm very busy. I'm on tour with Beyonce.
Fair play.
I'll make sure next time.
2035 at least.
2035.
Yeah,
wow.
it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Beyonce.
She actually asked me personally as well.
Yeah.
So
Which part are you gonna do? What are you doing? Your own material?
what we're just doing a world tour. I can't disclose any
NDAs.
NDAs are pretty locked down.
Yeah.
You know these Beyonce things. I know.
I'm very important, so
Yeah.
And on that note, who's spin?
It's your spin, isn't it? Come on.
This is
No,
my
it's your
spin.
spin,
It's my
yeah.
spin.
No, it's my spin.
I have no clue.
Hold on, you went,
No.
then he
No,
went.
I went.
You
You win.
then me. It's back to Russ.
So
Oh,
it's
you
my
shut
spin.
up, man. Go on.
Is that an apology? Is that an
Bro,
apology?
you ain't getting an apology. What are you talking about?
This is what's wrong with these African women, man.
Hey,
Hey.
bro, this guy's a nutter,
Do
bro.
we have a
Nah, you need that. You know the Jerry bell. That bell. That means, bruv, you're
That's
about to get
fired.
bruv.
But the thing is, what he fails to realise is he knows me. He's known me a long time. Like, I will turn up at the house with the rocket launcher. You know the big rocket launcher, the tank. So keep going, and I will turn up.
I'm not scared, you know.
Yeah, well, you should be.
I'm not scared.
No, you should be. I
Let
would
me
say.
spin my wheel, man.
Let me spin my wheel. Yeah, so, this was interesting.
We could have just done this.
What was it?
So it says, where are you from? So
That's interesting.
Ngozi Fulani.
Oh, do you want me to give you a
Yes,
rundown on
context,
that?
go,
Does
go.
everybody know? Okay, 1 second.
Do you have an opinion in it? Let me
It's
first
always
start
now.
there because we did have an opinion. Did
Oh.
you have an opinion on that woman? Sorry, what's the name?
Okay, so it's Ngozi
No, I mean,
Fulani.
I'm
Speak it
fully
to him,
aware
right?
of
Speak
it.
to him,
Yeah.
Ngozi Fulani and Lady Hussey, you know, when she
Yeah.
pulls her hair to the side.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I'm fully aware.
But do you have an opinion? Is my point.
Do I have an opinion? Yeah, I do. I just
Okay.
think.
there we
We're
go.
gonna come to you. We're gonna come to
Okay,
you then.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Do you want me to read or shall we go
yeah.
ahead?
So I do the work for no reason for people not to be read. No, go ahead. Speak.
Wow.
Flipping hell, bro. Damn.
I'm just asking because
No.
the conversation was moving.
So Nene,
Gosh, you're such a diva.
yes, this is his show.
Like unnecessarily.
We are just
Bro, don't talk to my cousin like that. Don't talk to my cousin like that, bro. Yeah?
So now, do you have an opinion on that moment at all?
But I don't know why she was surprised. I don't. When you're going to those types of places, you're going to meet people who have that mentality and who are going to ask you those types of questions. So I don't know why she was surprised. You're in that space. However, it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't excuse that it was rude and it was offensive. What I found really offensive were the responses to, from other black women who were targeting her. I thought it was disgusting, to be honest, because she has every right to defend herself. And if she wants to call herself thongitis or whatever she wants to call herself, she can call herself that. What's it got to do with you?
No, we need to go. How did you connect them two?
No, if you've got a thong on you, if you want to wear a thong on your head and intertwine it into your weave or whatever you want to do, what's it got to do with you? What has it got to do with you? Why are you so?
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
and that
fully.
Nana, sorry, I'm gonna have to say this on that Nana Akua
That's where I was coming.
with her lopsided wig, and don't try
Imagine.
and make out that you wear it because you do it on purpose. No, those are the wigs that you wear because you're dusty. She's dusty. Sorry,
You know,
How
I watched
dare you?
her video
she's dusty.
and I was like, the level of disappointment in
Yeah.
a human being.
My gosh, like how low can you go? No. But how low can you go? I mean, really, to attack another woman, and actually, her charity's been closed. It's under investigation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, of course.
Well, they
it's
started
laundering.
investigating
Yeah.
after this because they submitted their tax return like 2 months late, which is very common
Yeah,
practice
it's like
for most businesses. But yeah, so they're being looked into now.
Oh my gosh. But has she done anything wrong though? Do we know?
I don't. She probably hasn't.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a stigma in it. Like when the Charities Commission starts looking into a charity, it's no small thing.
It's not
Like,
small.
But if
so,
she wants
yeah.
to call herself Ngozi Fulani, so what? We all have aliases, as in like you know that my real name is not Nene, my name is Nanama. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nanama. So, but so what? You know, Rihanna's not called Rihanna. Her name is Robin. Do you understand? It's like,
Yeah.
Why are you attacking her?
Over
The
that.
incident still happened.
Yeah.
Whether or not her name is whatever, Shaquanda, Lafanfia, whatever you want to call her, the incident, why did he
Lafanfia.
Lafanfia.
Like, you can't say nothing about me when I start pulling out names. You know?
Nah, bro, but she's doing it better than you.
That's what I'm saying. She's like,
She's representing.
No,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, the attack,
What's it?
it didn't warrant what we should have all been, you know, we should
Yeah,
have been
what the
behind it.
conversation was about.
It didn't need to go that far where now we as sisters are attacking our own sister. For what? Because that's not her name. So what?
But then, you know, that's the thing. You just said we as sisters are attacking our own sisters, but she fully does not, number one, does not subscribe to that, and does not, Nana Akua.
Listen, she should
Her
be...
name is Nana Akua.
And the
Imagine.
audacity and the temerity to speak on somebody else when your wig is lots of dusty woman, man.
And
She's just dusty.
What made me laugh was that she even made a joke about her own wig. So I'm like, so you know.
No, she's
Yeah.
trying to palm it off as because it's that bad. She's trying to palm it off as, oh, I do it on purpose. No, you don't. You don't. Nobody
it's
wears
just bad.
wigs like that on purpose.
Why would you do that? Why would you
I
do
think
that?
the thing for me that was interesting is that she presents as a fully African woman. Like I look at her, and I'm like, you're African, and you talk as if she spoke as if she wasn't. Like there was not an ounce of African heritage in her whatsoever. And I was like, do you really understand the cultural context here, or are you doing that on purpose?
No,
That's the
she's
thing
doing
I
it on
couldn't
purpose.
understand.
It's like he said.
Do you think though that amongst Africans whose lineage is directly linked to a country in Africa, that sometimes there can be snobbery towards
Finish that.
Caribbeans who are like, I am reclaiming my African ancestry?
I would say no.
Okay.
You don't think there's a snobbery?
I don't think there's a snobbery. Sorry, I think there's an ignorance sometimes. There is an ignorance, but the reason why I said what I said in terms of that way was just how, and maybe I'm biased because I'm Ghanaian, the way we've embraced the return, even with this new visa that you can get when you land, because they're like, no, you're one of us. Do you know what I mean? But is that just a Ghanaian thing?
Yeah, no,
Because I wouldn't call it snobbery. I would say ignorance. I would say that, back in the day when we was growing up, my dad might say, oh, if you cut your hair like that or you have dreads or plaits, it means this. Do you know what I mean? And that's an ignorance towards the notion of maybe there were some bad breed youths who happened to be West Indian that were doing the stuff. So they didn't want us to represent and or look like that.
But then is there like merit to the claim where some commentators were talking about even her using the name Ngozi and the name Fulani is like you wouldn't have those two names.
People are praising Black Panther, which has all the different
Does Wakanda exist?
It's a fiction.
But does Wakanda exist? We've all embraced it. No, but we've all embraced it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's like, my point is, what has that got to do with the actual incident?
It has nothing to do.
It detracts from what they're actually... What happened to her was not okay. So like I said, her name, it doesn't matter what she decided to call herself. It's like, okay, Kwame Kwei Amar. I've never heard of a Ghanaian called Kwame Kwei Amar.
Yeah.
But that's what he wanted to call himself, because that's not his real name.
That's what
But if he wants to call himself that, it sounds quite nice actually. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice... But so what? I don't understand what the correlation is.
Kwame dresses like you all the time as well, bro. There's the beads. And
No,
Kwame's my guy, man. That's my guy.
No, but it's the way he's trying to send for you.
I wasn't trying to send for you.
He was.
No.
He's like, we're rushing out.
No, I'm just saying how he... I was trying to talk about how he embraced his African heritage.
Don't talk to my cousin like that.
Now, on a level, no, you're right. Though. I think you are so spot on because, we are kind of talking around it when really the moment should have been just about the fact that, come on, we do have a monarchy stroke. What is it, a monarchy anymore?
Yes.
They
definitely are.
Yeah, that look at the particular world and you've got to understand certain things now. Things shift and change. Do you know what I mean? So they should. I think that the problem for me was why didn't anyone, talk to that to the cohort that was going to be around when those visitors came through. Do you get me? Once they've come through now, you got to know it's going to be a particular crowd, so you got to move in a particular way.
But come on, I mean, where does she live? Where is this? What was the lady's name?
Lady Hussey.
And it was Hussey. The Hussey team.
You know what? I was
like,
leave
wow.
it there.
But I think the thing to talk to that point, Mike, is the fact that this was not her first rodeo.
Yeah,
she's been around for years, around
it is.
several senior members of the family and several senior, I would say, events. So that talk, I'm quite sure, should have been had already. She was
100%, my brother. And that's just the truth, bro.
I think the other thing for me though is what people failed or intentionally failed to see in the transcript was like the level of belligerence from the woman.
Lady Hussey.
Was it a transcript?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Was it a transcript?
Well, I guess it's not a transcript. It is
her version of the conversation.
Yeah, Ngozi's rundown of what took place.
And to be honest, we're all too familiar.
That was literally my question was going to be: have we not all had that question?
Oh, 100%.
And I think this is where you kind of get black and white folk knocking heads, so to speak, because we all in this room can sit here, read that transcript, and whether it's word for word what happened or an overview of what happened, we have all experienced that. There is nothing in there that is like, nah, that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
No, yeah, that is
Numerous times.
That is like run of the mill, passive aggressive conversation from a white person that wants to get in your business.
Definitely.
Whereas, and this is the thing that makes me laugh, is generally as a white person, you haven't been on the other end of it.
Yeah.
But you're fighting it so vigorously, saying what it's not. When it's like when people are telling you, well, no, this is
Yeah,
what it's doing.
nobody has ever asked you that before, but you think it's okay to ask it. Almost every time I get in a cab with a white person, they are going to ask, where are you from?
But
And we're going to go down that course.
the funny thing is, I get it. It's not even just white people. Cabs, Asian men do it all the time.
I very rarely get it with an Asian person.
No, I get it all the time.
Asian people
Where are you from,
standardly will see my name and will tell me of a time where they had a Ghanaian best friend.
But you know what?
Wait.
I
Ghanaian
had that
best friends.
yesterday, funnily enough.
See?
Ghanaian best friends are very common.
They are very common. And
Everyone's
it
like-
was an uncle. He was like, he's very nice into me, you know? Very nice.
Very nice into me.
No, but he was. He was so cute. Uncle was so cute yesterday.
She said nice in.
No, but that's what he said.
I know and I love it. I love it. It's the truth though. Everyone has a Ghanaian best friend.
The next time this happens, though, I am gonna say I'm from Nigeria.
Do you want to hear what they say?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not
I've
the same.
tried that.
Yeah.
Oh, you done it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not as friendly. It's like, oh, I knew a person, and it ends there.
Yeah.
Very short.
Bruv, I had one guy, so I was at one label having a chat or whatever, and then he goes, oh yeah, my missus, he said he came round and from a delivery guy came round, and they said, which one was it? Was it the Nigerian or the Ghanaian guy? Oh no. They go, oh no, it was the Ghanaian one because he was smiling.
What you did?
Imagine.
But they talk about the cleaner.
No, they were talking about the delivery man.
Oh.
Which delivery man
Why?
was it?
Why did you bring cleaner
I asked
into
the
it?
question. I didn't hear what he was saying.
Why did you bring cleaner into it?
Yeah.
I got the sweets though, man. Hey,
Listen.
pass the sweets over here.
Listen. Don't talk to Richard like that.
Oh wow, she defended everyone today except
My
me.
guy.
Don't talk to my cousin like
I'm not getting defended. I'm the one person not getting defended.
Don't talk to my cousin like that.
But yeah, man, listen, that was hilarious. Where are you from? But I thought it was. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. No. Move on. Is it my spin? Well, no, it's Nene's spin. It's Nene's spin.
My turn.
Nene's spin.
Mike, you need to make the African version of Countdown.
You know what? There's a bachelor one though.
Is there?
Well, a soca one is really good.
Wow.
Oh wow,
Slap.
Nene, we need to give you this front and center.
The moment that defined Will Smith forever and cemented Jada's name as mud amongst men and women alike.
Mad.
Rumor has
that what you
no
wrote?
comedian has ever made a joke about a woman with a bald head.
Bruv, your
Do
words
you know
are
what? The
getting
first.
sorry.
Do you know what? Forget.
I've
it.
I've
Just
tried.
forget. Just forget. So anyway, we're talking about.
Chris Rock paid the price for making Jada the butt of his joke. That's the slap.
So yeah, what about the slap? He slapped. Let me tell you something now. Let me just
Whoa, we're here for it.
let me just explain something now. You don't know I'm rowdy. Like there's composure, there's professionalism, and then there's bruv, I'm gonna knock you out because how dare you do that?
Which part? Which way?
Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Well, how
So
did
you-
you do that?
Yeah, how dare you?
So if you were Chris Rock, do you think he should have?
I
should
would
have
have
been
boxed him.
safe.
No, I would
Wait,
have boxed him
wait,
back.
wait.
I would have.
So if Will Smith was your husband and Chris Rock made a joke about you,
Mhm.
yeah, and he slapped him,
Mhm.
what you saying to him then?
I just don't think it needed to go that far.
It's not. I said, what are you saying to him?
Hey, why are you being so aggressive though? You don't have to be so
Okay,
aggressive.
role
No,
play.
right,
I'm
okay.
Will. You're Jada.
Right.
I've just slapped Chris.
I would have told him off.
Do you know what role play means?
Do we have to act it out? Do we have to act it out?
Yes, that's what I want.
Well, you're always going to get what you want. No. What I'm trying to say is, I think I understood that he was defending his wife and blah 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 blah, but he didn't need to go that far. You guys are friends. Do you understand? As far as I'm aware, they were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Rock made a joke. Maybe it was in poor taste.
It was.
Okay, it was in poor
Was
taste.
it?
It was.
Okay.
Knowing that we're at the sorry, Nene.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're at the Oscars,
Mhm.
knowing that we've had my brother before. What's that?
Ricky
white brother
Gervais.
said? Ricky Gervais before go in that was a light joke.
But it was.
Okay, so if it
But
was
yeah, no, wait.
Because it wasn't.
But
I was coming to
Chris Rock is not Ricky Gervais.
No, but no. My point is, when I'll get to the point because I want Nene to finish, but I don't think he was slapping for that moment.
Exactly, I think it was pent up anger from you
Right.
disrespecting
So
me.
that's
you disrespected
so
me
that's the
before.
only reason why I say it was a light joke.
No, you're right because it didn't warrant for me.
No.
It just didn't warrant that response.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And even when he sat down, he was keeping. It was just like wow. It doesn't need to go that far. And look, as you know, I'm a hooligan. You know, I'm up for listen. But my point is, you saw the hurt on Chris Rock's face. You saw. I mean, he was humiliated.
Like, wow.
Do you know what I mean? He literally.
That's the thing that hurt me the most.
Yeah, he was humiliated.
No one came to his aid.
Yeah.
No one supported him. Everyone was just on Will and that moment, and it was like, yeah, I understand Will's dealing with some stuff. Possibly, yeah, and we should all come around our people in that specific way. But the notion that this brother just got slapped
on live
for his family to see—that's the one for me. His family, his mum is still alive.
Ross, it's not funny.
I looked at Ross's face.
It's actually not funny.
Was I making it sound too funny?
I don't know why he was laughing so much.
Was I making it
It's not
sound too
funny,
funny?
Ross.
Or was it because it was too
You know what?
comedians?
I feel so bad, yeah, because I never have, and I still don't feel the level of empathy that people have for Chris Rock. I'm just like,
Wow.
in my head, I'm like, you got slapped, get over it.
No.
Like, that is literally.
My bro,
No, Ross.
Oscars,
For the
bro.
world to
I
see.
know.
Okay, so
Bro,
now you want to do role play. Sorry, Mikey, but you want to do role play.
Oh, now you want to
Yeah. So if I punch you in your mouth on live TV, because I didn't like the way you spoke to my cousin earlier on, fam. No, but I'm joking. But I'm saying if I came along and just slapped, what you would be.
Look, I'm not even going to try and justify how I'm feeling. I'm just being honest with how I feel. Like, I was literally sitting here and thinking, ever since this thing has happened, and I've heard people go, poor Chris Rock, his family watching this, and in my head, I'm always like, move on, man. Like, it was a moment.
Let me just explain something.
Nah.
If somebody slapped me anyway, I think that's a disrespect, but to slap me, walk up to me, slap me
Man
on
walked up
live
like
TV.
he was in that Wild
Hold
Wild
on, how
West
many
To
film.
the world.
To the
He
world,
walked up like
150
that,
million
boy.
people, or how many?
But
watch it.
who's
Hold
walked
on.
away worse?
Hold on, one second. We're never speaking again. There is no kumbaya. There's no conversation again. We're done. Because in that moment you did not think about our friendship. You just thought about your anger and your ego. There's no way. There's no discussion.
No, that's too much thought. Like, how can you be
Russell.
like in that moment?
Gavin.
No, wait.
Listen, I just said your name.
When you're angry, right, and you're running like you're being powered by your ego, there is no thought. So for you to be like, nah, you didn't
control.
you
Okay.
didn't
You
think
can
about our
control-
friendship.
you can control yourself.
No, not everybody
No,
can.
you won't.
When
I've
you're
got-
angry,
Well,
when
you're
you get
Well, you're gonna
but
learn.
then, okay, so then my thing is, then you as a friend, knowing that, so if you know that there's every now and again, sometimes I just flip my
But
lid
he
and-
doesn't every now and again.
That's what I'm saying. So I've got two
That's
points.
actually even more
So-
reason
so no
to be
Russ.
like, this
Russell,
dude is
get out
going
of here,
for
man.
this.
Get out
Russ,
of here,
I've
get
got
out,
2
get
points
out.
for you then. I've got 2 points for you then. Will Smith has done that what you're saying he should have done in that moment his whole career. He's had
Yes.
his shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah? The one time he has slapped someone before.
Yeah,
That person came
Yeah.
up to him on the red carpet,
Tried
tried to kiss him.
Yeah.
He slapped the guy.
Yeah.
Right? But he has also said at another interview, he said, fam, I've wanted to be that gangster guy. Well, not those words, but he wanted to move like that. I think it was with LeBron and all of them, they were having a conversation. And he's had to hold that down his whole career. Really, we saw a new shade
Yes.
of who already was
Yes.
that man. Then the second thing I wanted to say to you, bro, that's Okai, who is standing up there, receiving that slap from Will Smith. You're telling me you're gonna say, it's cool.
Deal with it. Really.
Or that's
You got
Nana.
slapped, bro.
Or hold on, that's Nana.
Nah, don't even go there.
Yes.
Nana's a big woman and all that. This is your seed. They have done nothing on this earth other than be your child.
Okay, so
Russ is like,
I said, nah, I've got to make these 2 points.
Yeah.
okay, so here's my position.
Because you know you would go nuts. If you was watching that, you're going to find
Russ.
whoever it is.
and I have not denied that.
Why are we even debating
You
this?
said
shit?
you should
Listen
get
to
over
what
it.
I said.
Yeah,
Listen
let's
to what
move
I
on,
said.
because you're
Listen to what I said.
You're talking like we didn't listen to what you
Exactly.
said.
We heard
So what
you.
did I say? What did I say?
You were minimising what had taken
Stop
place.
Stop with all that newfangled talk.
You,
I was doing my-
it's not
shall I tell you
newfangled.
what-
I wasn't
Excuse
doing
me,
my-
not
I'll say
newfangled.
exactly what you said.
Go on.
You know, every time that I've heard they talk about
Why is your voice?
That's exactly how you said it.
Exactly.
That's exactly how you said it.
No.
the stuff about Chris Rock and the fact that, you know, in front of his family and his, you know, his mom and all of these different things, I just thought, you know, it's just a slap.
Get over it. Get over what?
And then what else did I go on to say?
Bro, you went on to say best stuff and you disagreed with me. That was it.
My overarching point is that I know that I feel a lack of empathy towards him,
Yes.
but I don't know why.
Why did
Oh,
okay.
okay. That's
Is it him specifically or that moment?
I think it's him specifically, but I can't say that if it was somebody else that I wouldn't feel the
I
same.
think it's because he's a comedian. A comedian is meant to be, to take himself lightly and not be the person who takes, you know,
Himself so seriously.
we would see him get slapped, a fake slap, probably often.
Yeah.
We see Jazz get dashed out
Yeah.
of,
Okay.
you know, all the time on Fresh Prince or whatever it is. I think maybe it's that because he's a comedian, you instantly go, oh no, it's a light touch thing. But if he was a Kai,
Yeah,
you'd be wilding.
but of course, because I'm just like that's my family.
So what about for Kai was Will Smith?
Then because what I was literally just about to say is sitting here thinking about it.
And sorry,
I was like,
Kai, I'm all using an example. My guy.
and again, I'm not even entirely sure why, but what I realized in the moment is I had more empathy towards Will. Now I don't know if it's just because Will was
When
more
you
front
like Will
center
more.
in our faces, so
I think it
everything
was.
he was going
that
through
you like
with
him
Will
more.
and
You
Jada.
like him
I think I like him more
Yeah.
anyway.
I would
Yeah.
I would challenge that. I would say it's because this is not normal.
Anyway, so moving on.
Moving on.
Mikey, is yours nice? What are you drinking?
I'm just going to go.
Why didn't you have any other item?
It's too sweet. Oh wow.
So it's a personal
that's
highlight.
me. Is that me now?
Whose goal was it?
Does it say anything other than personal highlight?
Yeah.
This is a question from the
Let's
audience.
go again. Let's go again.
Here's the thing. I put 5 personal highlights in there.
Ah.
So the idea of like everybody would
End up with one.
went with one, but
Bruv, just go again. Go again.
Orders.
I'm gonna
No,
do
you
it.
haven't done one yet,
I
have you?
haven't done it.
Yeah,
Oh, you want to do one? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, because I'm very important. But mine's boring. It would just be music orientated.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
just say it doesn't
Tell
matter.
us the
It's
personal
just-
highlight.
It's
It's
just
your
something
life.
going on. you
Yeah.
know. I think my first one was when we did Kew Gardens this year. It was a hot summer.
Yeah.
Today it was sold out. Oh yeah, you were there, Nance?
Yes. It's wicked.
I think it was 10. Was it 10,000 people? Maybe?
Oh, nice.
It was epic. Yeah, just moments like that make you realise, okay, and it was a 36 piece orchestra.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
So it's garage classical.
Mm.
And just to see everybody, and you know, we do shows all the time, but this is slightly different because it's an orchestra and it's a live band, and I think people think it's quite stiff, and it really isn't.
Mhm.
So that was a highlight because the vibe. I came out and I was like, oh shit, it's on. Do you know what I mean? The beauty of my record is I don't really have to work. As in, as soon as the staccato come, boom, 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 it's like, okay, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
and I just remembered the raw, and I remember looking at Spoonie at the side of my glasses, thinking, "Oh shit, it's on." Yeah." So that was great. That was amazing. Again, yeah, it's just music orientated.
Yeah.
I've just every gig I've done this year has sold out. It's been great. It's just I'm gonna sound like one of those artists now. I'm just so blessed, and I just feel so, you know. But genuinely, it's like I'm still working, and I'm working continuously, and the audiences are just getting bigger and bigger, and it's just amazing. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to still have that level of continue. I can never say the word continue. Say it for me.
Continuity.
Continuity.
You know what it is? You've hit that sweet spot as an artist where, and you know what, the balance will shift at some point. I think about it just in the fact that, say, my dad really loved Neil Diamond, and Neil Diamond was like a cultural reference. He had a moment in it. you're connected into that sweet spot. And Meant to Excel was that as well to a degree, where everyone's reached a particular level in their life, but we're also the young generation of that particular moment. So now when we want to go out, we want to hear that thing. We want to have that vibe. We want to get taken back to
moment
that
that we had. Yeah.
And right now, we are the main kind of like consumers because it'll be our children next. Because I think, what would our children, what would be that? Because for us, there's so many, whether it's Drew Hill, Thong Song, it's Drew Hill, or whether it's Cisco Thong Song, whether it's stuff like the music that you're doing and your track, of course. But all of those different things, what would that be for the kids today? Would it be what's my guy's name? Oh, sorry, why have I?
No, Stormzy would be in there.
Would you think? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would Dave be in there?
Yeah.
No, I feel like
in your mind you're thinking Bodak Yellow. I'm thinking
like
City Girls.
Yeah, I'm thinking that track because Nene's track comes on. Come on, like we're done. Everyone's dancing.
But it's really weird. I don't think I've ever had the moment where people aren't dancing. I've never had that moment.
But that's what I'm saying. You're in that sweet spot right now. Yeah. It's just exactly what you're talking about. It's just gonna be the vibe constantly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the vibe.
It's a wave that will carry on because even the younger ones,
that's what their parents were listening to.
Because, 6-year-olds had done it.
Yes,
because they're so into it. It's like Y2K and everything.
That is a highlight.
Stuff.
That was a highlight.
That 6-year-old.
Because I think there was maybe 10 of them, and they were all 6. And they all had their hair slicked back and they had their little tracksuits on. Yeah. And they were like, "Well, you think you're a nice lady and we like your song." And I just thought, and I turned into an auntie. I was like, "You lot,
how do you even
supposed to be in bed? We're gonna be 7." Honestly, they were so.
And that's what I mean. You've got a cultural song. Cultural. So it's connected to a moment that could never be recreated and will never ever happen again.
It's immortalized.
Yeah, it's immortalized. And it will be that way because it's either going to be we're going to dance to it or our kids are going to go, that's the song mum danced to.
That's what she listened to in the house. And
do you know what I mean?
So then it even becomes significant for them because they're like, that's what I saw my parents dancing to.
It's like Happy. Happy, that's a track that's always going to be played. Or Happy Birthday, Stevie Wonder. Do you know what I mean? These tracks just synonymize a moment and a vibe.
You were going to say something, and then
No. You go.
So this is a highlight, and the reason why it's a highlight is because sometimes when you're in a bad mood and you just need to get over yourself, right? So we were going to a gig, and everything that could possibly have gone wrong went wrong that day, right? So by the time I got in the car, I was late. My DJ was we'd gone to the wrong destination. I couldn't get an Uber. It was a whole mess, right? So I've got in the car and this Indian uncle was like, "Don't worry, I'm getting you to the gig. Don't worry." So he's saying to me, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay." And he's like, "No, you're looking nice, and he's really trying to change the mood. And I was just grumping. I was on the phone like, "Where is it? Yeah, but now we're going to be late." And I'm annoyed, basically. I'm annoyed because if I'm late, I'm the one that's now harassed. All the rest of it. Anyway, let me get to the point. So he says to me, "So you're a singer? What song are you singing?" So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to have this conversation. If I'm going to press the button where the screen, I don't want to talk to you. I'm really annoyed. And so I was thinking, well, how am I going to explain to Uncle what song I'm on? So I said, well, it's a bit dancey, it's a bit housey. I'm liking the house music, So he's now singing certain house, and I'm just thinking, I just need to get to my destination. This man is actually getting on my nerves. Anyway, so he said, "No, but what song are you singing? I'm liking to know. I really wanted to know." So as he's talking, I said, hang on a minute. I said, hang on a minute. Turn up the radio, and the song was playing on the radio. Wow. I kid you not.
No way.
Wow.
And so I said, "Oh, this is me," and he went, "No way. I have celebrity and can't take picture." So he was so, but do you know what it was for me? Oh my God. Do you know what it was for me? It was in that moment, it was just a reminder, relax. Do you know what I mean? But what were the odds?
Yeah.
So that was a highlight for me because it changed my whole, we laughed and then we got in the car.
Music
It was just nice. It was just a nice moment without sounding narcissistic. But it was a really nice moment. So those music is my highlight, I suppose.
Listen,
May it always be.
Yeah, exactly, man. The fact that you get the opportunity to do what you love
Yeah.
And you're still getting to do it consistently after all this time. That's a blessing in itself. Man.
No, really.
You hope for a banger like that as a musician.
You really do.
Trust me.
So,
I was gonna say like so obviously like when you did the song, so like going back to the beginning, like you did the song. Obviously, there's that moment where you realize, yo, we got this is banging. Like,
I remember talking to her about that. She said, I remember you being in the studio and you just knew. Everyone all
just
knew.
knew.
Yeah, everyone knew.
Sorry, finish. What you were gonna say?
But my second one is like, so you know you have a hit, but then there's that point which obviously Mikey was talking about earlier on, where you're like, no, actually we have a hit like which is like has its moment in culture. Like, so was there a moment where you realized that where you're like, actually this song isn't just like a moment where we've had this massive hit, like this is cultural longevity?
No, I did. Honestly, when we did the track, I knew it was a hit. I just thought it was going to be one of those moments where it's a hit. And I still didn't realise how big it was until we did an event. And I'd never seen so many people I've never seen 110,000 people ever in my life together jumping up and down. I will never forget that moment.
110?
Yeah, that was 110,000
Where?
people.
Was that like Glastonbury or something?
It was part in the park.
Wow.
And the lineup was... That's when I realised, oh shit, this is...
Remember that was Capital,
I think you were there. You were there, Nana.
No, I
it was
couldn't
Radio
come
1.
to... Was it Radio 1? No, Party in the Park. Wasn't that Capital?
I think it might have been Capital.
Yeah.
Whichever one it was. But the lineup, basically, when I realised...
Because they used to be huge.
That moment was... when you walk into the section, your dressing room, whatever it is, it was in a square, right? So when I was looking at the names, I was thinking... Remember, we didn't have camera phones at times. Otherwise, it would have been... So there was Nelly Furtado, Destiny's Child, Cisco... Was it Drew Hill? I think it was Cisco. Usher, The Architects, Shaggy.
Wow.
Wyclef. So that was our square. So, and then Mystique. So it was like, wait, what?
Really?
But even then, because I was occupied doing other stuff, so I didn't like my makeup, so I was being a brat. I don't like my makeup! And I remember Usher came up. That was the moment for me. Usher was just like, oh my God, you're the body group girl. And he was like, oh my God, like, I love you. And I was thinking, oh my God, does he actually know who I am? Come on, it's Usher. Like I grew up listening to Usher.
Listen, it was a tune.
So that's when I realised.
Yeah, you reminded me, like, when you just said to Nana, like, I think you were there. So, for context, Nana used to style for Nene, right? And this was, like, in the early days of me and Nana going out, right? And so, so at them times, I'm like, yeah, got a banger, like, my girl's starting for finger. But I remember
so silly.
I remember one time, and the way we were all so gassed. So when we was in uni, the house we lived in with Melvin, Ricky, and the others, and I think Nana had gone to do Top of the Pops with you, and so she was like on her way back, and so I was like, oh yeah, like Nana's on her way back with Nene from Top of the Pops. The way all us brothers in the house cleaned up that yard. We cleaned up that yard because we were like, Nene's coming to our house. Yeah. And so it was like, the doorbell goes, open the door. It's just Nana. It's like, where's Nene? It's like, oh no, she had to go. And
she went home.
We were all, so the way we were gas thinking like, we're about to meet Nene.
Celeb.
I have no clue why you would have thought. My cab's going to Luton from Elstree. She's going to London. That she's going to be coming to hang out in Luton. Why would that happen?
Because we're hot boys.
Ricky thought he had a chance of everyone's dating.
But yeah, Ross, that was actually a question because someone said that to me the other day. That it's part of the culture. And so I was like, oh, I didn't. And he was like, no, I don't think you understand. It's part of the culture.
Part of culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great, but I'd like to have some more.
Of course,
you will.
Of course, you
You
will.
will.
Yeah. So that's the next move. But anywho,
we move. What we got? Round and round the wheel goes.
Is it my turn? This is my turn.
This is your turn, Mikey.
What is it? Twitch suicide. Yeah.
We all kind of know, don't we?
I didn't know much about Twitch. But I remember him on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah.
Just as that character, as that entity. And I then went to learn more about him after this death. And it always becomes so scary, I would say, especially as well from the space of a black man's perspective, of this gentleman who was doing so much, who would have seemed to be so happy, who had a beautiful wife, kids, a career, even though the Ellen thing was kind of ending, had a career that lived in his what's the word? In his wheelhouse, like it was under his control. He could have branched on. He you know how he met his wife as well was connected to is it Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah.
Their version of What We Have is Strictly, and seeing this individual go through something so much so that his wife ran out of that house the day that he didn't come back in one way or fashion, meaning there was something else going on with him, and being scared, literally being scared at the fact that what could that ever mean for other black men that they're going through, or that they're that they're not getting to expose or to get to speak, express, because in part they have to continue to put that smile on for the cameras, for the sake of their families, for the sake of their whole being. It's scary to know that you can see that man do everything that he did, or what it's said on the tin, but inside something was grabbing and eating him so badly. That's what really hit me about that suicide.
Yeah, for me, I used to watch Elon all the time. Like it's a highlight because the crowd. I just think the crowd always seemed like they were on crack. They were just so happy and high all the time. And Twitch used to come out and do his thing, and he danced with the audience, and they had this bond. You could see it on camera. It was just genuine. You could see that they were genuine. And yeah, when you hear that it's a suicide, you think to yourself, what the hell went wrong? But I will say this: creatives, a lot of creatives, we wear our masks very well. Because I showed my friend, one of my friends was kind of like, but how could you do that? And if you're feeling that way, just speak about, just being quite black and white. And I was like, but when you're in entertainment, there's this mask that you put on. You kind of have to pretend, even when things are going wrong. So I remember when I was really, really upset, I was really down about a situation, and it really affected me, like, to my core. And I had to go out and perform. And I remember just before I went on stage, I was crying. I had to fix my makeup. When I came off the stage, I was crying. And I was at my lowest point. If I show you the picture, though, if I show you the video, you never know.
Exactly.
You just think, oh my God.
And this is what I'm saying. This is why the fear was there for me. Because, as you say, number one, as a creative myself, but then all my people, majority of us are creatives.
Yeah.
So I put that thing on any of my guys feeling or going through anything in this kind of way, because you just never, it just feels like that thing, you just never know. You can't ever see it, because as I said, I don't know much about him, but no one saw it.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously his wife must have understood something, but no one saw what this thing was.
I think as well for me it was maybe about 24 hours later, the video of him on Instagram started doing the rounds.
What was that?
He's dancing.
Oh, the one before.
Like, it was like 3 days.
He was
before
dancing
they
with his
posted.
missus in there, routine, innit?
And just so again, like you, I didn't really know much of Twitch before this, and I wasn't, I catch bits of elements, but even didn't really know the guy too tough. But two things really just struck me when it happened. Was the first, so when I remember just scrolling on my timeline and just seeing his picture, and the thing that just got me was his smile. I was just like, yo, that's like $1 million smile, man.
Yeah,
like the
beautiful, handsome man.
Yeah. And so then later on then to see this video as well. And in a way, it made me kind of scared, because I was like, this shit is hard to catch. Because if any of my friends are feeling like this.
Well, it's called masking, isn't it? It's called masking. Like you are masking. You're pretending that everything's okay because you have to. Remember, he's the man of the house. He's Twitch. He's got this personality that he needs to live up to. He's got his wife. Everything's great. They've just done the videos and all the rest of it. But for me, I just think a lot of people mask and they don't talk. Do you know what I mean? And so if you're not really, and this is why I always say, I think my friends and family think I'm a bit crazy, but I have to hear your voice. I have to have a conversation. I can't do the texting. Are you okay? No, I have to have that conversation. I have to hear that you're all right. Because loads of times people are not all right when how do you know? The text is toneless. WhatsApp is toneless. But I just think the masking thing works very well for creatives. We all,
Mm.
you would know, we all do it. You know, we all pretend that everything's fine. No, everything's fine because we've got to go out and perform. For him to be something clicked where he just woke up one day and thought, you know what,
That's it.
not even say bye to his wife and or his kids. But I suppose you'd have to be that cold and that. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to to do what you set
With
out to do.
that disconnect. Isn't
Yeah.
It?
There's a film, and maybe I'm spoiling some of the plot, but Smile. It's a horror film that came out most recently.
Yeah.
It is talking about that essentially. I don't want to kind of colour people's opinion.
I'm not going to watch a horror, so
It's really good because it is talking about trauma in that
Mhm.
regard. And what I think it really highlighted was the ramifications of the trauma unresolved.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about the most in this particular scenario is that what is it going to do to his children?
Mm.
How does it continue to now create this domino effect
Yeah.
throughout life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not to kind of make this too dark.
no, but
That's
that's a
Whitney
great point.
and
That's such a great
Whitney
point.
and then her child, you know, the same kind of
Yeah.
picture, you know. That's what I think is the sad thing about these kind of moments is when that thing that was inside you and that you were struggling with all of a sudden implodes, but then it goes out and shatters.
The shockwaves.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Perfect word. The shockwave it now creates. That's the thing. Because that family, they would probably say, we had no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe mum did.
Mhm.
You know
But
what I mean?
still, you're probably not even thinking.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's if somebody's depressed, but they're not saying they're suicidal. And even if they are, I don't think there's anything that anybody can do to stop what they're going to do.
Yeah, because
I
they're going
think
to do it.
they're going to do, if they are going to
Do it.
act on those,
Yep.
you can't control somebody's thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you can speak to them, doesn't matter. If that
Yeah.
thought is
In
dominating,
there, and it's ruminating.
it will convince you,
My friend lost a
I
friend.
need to leave here.
My friend
Because
lost a
everyone's
friend.
going to be better.
Yeah, my friend
I
lost a
go.
friend exactly like that. She said the girl kept on saying these kind of things. Do you know what I mean? She just kept on saying these things, comment like, you know, but yeah, I'll be dead anyway. You know, that kind
Yeah.
of throwaway.
Yeah.
And you're not going to really
You're not
think
really-
they're going to really
yeah.
do it. And you'll probably just be thinking, no, okay, things have changed. Everybody's a little bit depressed. My husband's depressed. You're not going to think he's going to take it to another level.
But then there's that whole other thing, Nana, where people don't let up at all. They just don't. You just don't know.
Yeah, that they're
'Cause
even
I'm
depressed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that my friend was depressed. Never gave anything away. Ever. Always seemed together. Do you know what I mean?
It is
So,
challenging. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. We say talk,
There isn't one.
right?
I know.
We say go
everybody
get
And I
says
help.
really hate
You say
that.
get therapy.
No, but I
Yeah.
really hate that whole check on your strong friend. Just listen. That's like the black squares, you know, the
Yeah,
Black Lives
yeah.
Matter thing. Let me put my black square up and hope for the best. You know, I've done my bit now. No, you know, if you're going to check on your friend, check on your friend. Because your strong friend
Mhm.
is too busy being strong or pretending that everything's okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this whole strong friend notion is stupid. Nobody's strong. Do you know what I mean? You just have to know your people. You have to know your people. You have to know. You know, if I don't hear from Nana, I'm going to call her and say, so what? So what, you can't call? What? What's going on? If I can't get hold of Nana, I'm calling Russell. I did it yesterday. Where's my cousin?
Can you stop calling my phone, please?
What's that? Where's my cousin? Put that mumble out on the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Real talk, it is challenging.
Yeah. It is.
It's hard, you know. I don't think there's a solution to
Yeah,
this.
there
It's
isn't.
very hard. It's life, and I
Yeah.
actually blame governments for this. I
Wow,
don't.
you went
Wow,
bow.
you
I blame governments. I think they have set this up. You've made life really hard, and it doesn't have to be that way. And people are killing themselves because they're
Things are
trapped
just
in a
tough.
rat race.
But I also
Yeah,
think
it's
the
like it's
pressures
hard.
of, I just think the pressure of always because of social media as well. I do blame social media as well, Nan.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything has to be picture perfect.
Perfect.
And you know, now you've got to come up with more content. You know, now, that's why I don't get involved in that whole, because you know you have to come up with more content
Yeah.
and you have to do this. Yeah, but as an artist, you've got to do this. You've got to be seen to be doing this.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure,
Yeah.
and this person's got that car, so why don't you have a car?
Yeah.
This person has sold, you know.
Or they were
has-
flipping
how many
billionaires at
streams-
25.
Yeah, or how many streams have you got?
Mm.
You don't have enough streams. Do you see what I'm saying? So all of that piles on. It does
But
pile on.
you know what? Sadly, that made me even more sad because at least even in those, and this is not diminishing, number one, Twitch's demise, but then also at the same time, any other person who lives in our world where music or fame sits, those people that just don't even have those outlets, like whose death won't be seen or heard of, probably thousands of other men,
Of course, yeah.
in Twitch's age bracket probably killed themselves that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got those people that don't even have those outlets, that aren't able to express themselves in because I understand that privilege, me as a creative. The notion that I get people care about to a degree, they care about what I'm saying.
Said that.
Yeah, because they might not. But they care about what I'm saying. They want to pay for it. They want to watch it. When I make a piece of work, it's coming from here. It's coming from here. Do you know what I mean? And people go, yeah, man, that's valuable. The other side of that is where they don't, and they give it 2 stars or 1 star, or don't even talk about it. Do you know what I mean? But then on that flip side, I've signed up for that game.
Yeah.
But there's bare other people like who just don't even have a voice, who are sitting on that side of that screen or whatever it is, and like you said, keeping up with the Joneses, making it look a particular way, but inside they're broken as hell, and they've got no one to even talk to.
It's just it's genuinely like heartbreaking though. Genuinely that somebody would feel that low to wake up and just say, I'm done. And all the gifts that you have in terms of being a creative and the gift of your family, to do it as well, like 2 weeks before Christmas. I mean, he's determined. Yeah, so something went horribly wrong, really, where he just internalized and just thought, I've had enough.
And we still don't have an answer. We still don't have a no. We still don't have the wife saying specifically what it was. Nothing, right?
I was reading some people were saying he left a note, but I don't know.
They want to keep it for themselves.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, in all of these situations, we kind of know too much.
Yeah, we do.
That was my thing.
Too much,
My thing was, should we know
too much?
Yeah, should we know?
Yeah.
But I think
but if it can help another person, if it can,
isn't
then
it?
I
really
think the challenge
hard.
is when you place yourself in the public eye, then that's where, like we were saying earlier, it's not that you have an obligation to get me, but there is this.
It creates.
People have bought into you. People have,
Yeah,
and I understand
know.
that. I understand. That's the one thing. I don't think I'm challenging your point, Richard.
No.
I mean, more than anything else, I understand it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should we know though?
Because I touch on the should we know thing because I remember it being about when the Jamal Edwards news broke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rest in peace. I said, I want to know what happened to him, and I couldn't understand why I wanted to know so much. But then I said to myself, no, it's because at first it was like he just passed, and I'm like, he's young, whatever. And I said, there's a good few apart from, let's say, crime and whatever. There's a good few young black men dying now, and I'm like, is something wrong? Do we need to know something?
I know the time.
So that, you remember, I was saying, I don't really feel like I should know his family's business. Yeah. But again, he's in the public eye, so X, Y, and Z. But I was like, is there something that we can all learn from? And then obviously, like the other flip side was, I had a feeling I knew what it may have been. Yeah. And we land where we land.
But just to add to that, I think it's because we all watched Jamal grow.
Yeah.
So he was that little brother.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, well, what happened? What do you mean? Remember, I was with you.
We
I was with Nana in Shoreditch House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just called you.
You called me.
Yeah.
Wow, I really placed myself there,
That's nice because when you got married, they said you became one.
Yeah, that's really placed myself. I was there.
Yeah, no.
But that was really sad. Yeah, like that, and I think
he had so much more to give.
So much more, and it's that thing of like the little brother as well, because it's like whenever I think of Jamal, I still think of like that Google video, and it's like the young version of him running around, and you just think like.
Well, he was I first met him when he was 15. Wow. And he had just started out and he had his camera and me and Wiley, I don't know what me and Wiley were doing outside the Mobos. I think we sneaked out. But he was talking and I was talking, and anyway, then Jamal came up and he's like, no, like, do you know what I mean? Obviously like he's a young guy.
He's got his camera, he's like,
no, what, like, can I get you on video? And I was like, of course, it's a young black boy, of course you can. And then while he was rapping, and I was like, I got bars too. And I said, and it's funny, years later, I was like, listen, Jam, don't. You see
lose that video.
I think it should have come up.
No, I was spitting. I was spitting. Me and Wiley were there. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was being the backup dancer. And I just remember him from there, and then we just built a friendship. And his mum's got the same birthday as me, so he always used to say, "See, I remembered your birthday, sis," and I'd say, "Don't try it." Don't try it. But that was devastating.
It was.
That crushed me.
Too young.
Yeah. But just such a vibrant, amazing, giving person who wanted to help everybody. I called him maybe 6 months before he passed. I called him and I said, "Jan, listen, I need to talk to you. I just need to talk to you. I got a plan." And he said, "Oh, I'm in LA. I'll get back on Tuesday. Let me clear my diary." And he did. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna go to our house. We're gonna eat food, and we're gonna." And he did. He cleared his diary. Nobody does that. Nobody in the music industry does that. Your friend will do that. Nobody who was at his level will do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay, so what do you need?" And then he was making fun. And I was like, "Wow, this guy hasn't changed at all."
Good boy. He's a good man.
And so we really lost somebody that was an integral,
For the
necessary,
scene.
important person.
He's just as potent as Posty.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of their energy and their need in the scene. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
He was so necessary.
Necessary.
And so important to everybody because he understood what needed to be done and he did it. And he understood how to connect the dots.
Yep.
And I think the music industry would be a lot nicer if they had more
characters
journalists
like him. Yeah,
and more successful. We would all be a lot more successful because he brought that together. Because who do we have now? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I called him out of the blue. He didn't have to answer. He's got Ed Sheeran and whoever as his best. Do you understand what I mean? Like people really, the gas takes over. Yeah. You can't call certain people now and say blah blah blah. Just speak to my secretary or whatever. But he was like, "No, I'm clearing my diary. I'll come back on Tuesday." Yeah. And I think at the time he was with you know what? Let me not name drop.
He was busy.
He was busy.
Rest in peace to those guys. Yes. To wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, everybody, what has been your lesson for 2022? Try and keep brief. Go on then.
Just believe in yourself. Really. Confidence is key. And I know that sounds really nuts, but that's it for me.
Cool. For me, bro, it was interesting, man. I said this year, you know, sitting down with my brother, that I said, "Yo, man, I have to turn up." And when I meant turn up, I said I have to try a thing. Like try and go a little bit harder in a different way, and put my mindset towards something and challenge myself. Yeah. So I think the lessons for me going on into the new year is keep on challenging myself. Like allow yourself to be stretched. There is time for rest and recuperation. Yes, make sure. You know, we've spoken about some of the different circumstances where obviously something might have been amiss or you haven't taken self-care into the situation. But know that you can challenge yourself to push yourself to the other space because you will never know until you do have that goal. And for me, this year, this 2023 that's about to come up is the year that I am hopefully going to see the fruits of this challenging because I've been stretched. Yeah. This year, I felt the stretch. So continue to challenge myself and to help support and challenge the people around me.
I would say fear is the enemy. Like fear is the only enemy. I think that's the lesson that I've learned this year.
You know what?
100%, my guy.
Yeah.
Fearlessness.
Yeah.
There needs to be a bit more fearlessness. Yeah.
And that is it in a nutshell. I think that's, you know, that's my key takeaway. That's my key
we ask the other characters.
Yes, please.
I like that. My one has been really to not get caught up in the label of what I deem as successful or what I am, and really move away from I am just Nana Evans, and whatever I want to turn my hand to, I can. I don't have to be the designer. I don't have to be the millionaire. Like it's just, I can just put out what I want to put out, and as long as I'm being honest and thinking of others and of service, that's all you need to do. That's been my lesson.
Oh, you're just so beautiful sometimes.
Come on, Dan.
What
you say, Rich?
For me, again, I feel like you kind of really hit the nail on mine as well. Mine is the last year has been interesting for me. Let's say the half of last year and let's say all of this year's. Fear no change. Like, do not fear change.
Oh,
Do you know what I
God,
mean?
Richard,
And
you
then-
know what? You just, honestly,
Yeah,
it's like you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
I just couldn't really say.
Yeah, do not fear change.
Yeah.
And then the other one is funny because I had this guy I used to work with, who I was asking him a question. How do you make these decisions we have to make? Sometimes they're a bit daunting, they're a bit scary, they're a bit X, Y, and Z. How do you make them? Because they have ramifications, basically for the job we were doing at the time. And he said to me in his thick Nigerian accent, he said, "Be bold." Yeah, and I will never forget that. One, because he sounded like my dad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just be bold.
I love it.
I love that. Guys, man, you done another one?
Bruv, come on, we're going to be doing this again in 2023. Come on, let's say we're going to be doing it again in 2023.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm not coming back, guys.
But were you even invited?
No. I think you'll come to another episode. You don't have to do the wrap up. You can come to another episode.
Well, you know, like I said, I'm on tour. I'm very busy.
I know, you said that.
Well, you know,
We'll zoom you in.
there's a couple of other people that I'm on tour with as well.
Ah.
Who else?
Well, I can't really disclose that with you.
No, NDAs, bro.
NDAs, yeah. Me too, I'm going on tour.
Well, really?
Mhm.
With Whiskey?
I feel like that was a bit racist.
Right, only this kid.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I go on
He's
tour
got
with
some
Stone
good songs.
Roses?
That's
Well,
He's going on tour from the front room to the kitchen to the bedroom.
At some point, wait, actually, we need an update. Is the heating working?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got a whole new boiler.
Yeah.
Brand new boiler.
my heating is currently
How's the weight training going? The weight loss?
29
Yeah,
degrees.
Yeah, because
Steady,
I live on
steady.
the river.
Steady
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
I
That's
know.
good, man. You're looking
Yeah,
good.
so-
You're looking very good.
Bring something before you go there.
Oh, my God. All right,
I'll
cool.
bring something, yeah.
Alright, on that note,
I need to go to.
please talking across me. It's very rude.
Oh, shut
I
up.
haven't
man.
done my closing.
Oh, can
You don't
get
care
on with
about it. You don't care about it. But on that note, we are finished. Goodbye.
Hey, yeah, Baby New Year.